Sorry.
Until we start carving them, which is gonna be like an hour or two, you have the chance to find like certain just search some pictures of pumpkins that you would like me to recreate, some patterns for the faces or whatever. You can search for some, and my favorites I'm gonna choose, and I'm gonna actually put on the 3 pumpkins. So the best one is gonna come on this one, second best on this, and then on this one we're just gonna draw something for the stream. Okay? I'm just washing my hands, and then we're gonna start with killing the pumpkins. In case you're wondering which pumpkins we have, again, the 3 on the bottom, the bigger ones, are just decoration pumpkins, so you cannot eat them, or maybe you can, but you shouldn't. And the 3 small ones on top are Hokkaido pumpkin, which you can eat with the skin, which are the ones that we're gonna be eating today. The meals today are gonna be pretty simple, but really good. So I hope you're gonna enjoy that. Oh my god, look at those pumpkins. They're so big. Big boys, big boys. Yeah, Nathan doesn't like back scratches. Don't ask me why. I don't really know. He just doesn't enjoy it. Which is weird. I cannot understand that. So in here we're gonna make our risotto, and then for our pumpkin soup we're gonna take a big pot. I'm also gonna have the overhead camera for you later. We need some onions. Fun fact, there are not only onions in here, there's some garlic in here, there are potatoes in here. Oh, I still have some garlic. Nice. Nice! Like Sazu would say. Do I want to make it with a red onion? I think I'm gonna take the yellow onion actually. 2 big onion and a bunch of garlic. I'm not sure if I made pumpkin soup in stream yet. Does somebody remembers if I did before? So we're starting off with the pumpkin soup, and then later on we're gonna make the risotto, which is both basically gonna have the similar ingredients. So since we're gonna puree this soup, we don't have to necessarily chop everything super fine, which is kind of nice for the soup. So I'm just gonna roughly chop this onion up. So the first thing that I'm gonna put in a pot, obviously, is some oil. So I'm gonna put a bunch of oil in there, so nothing is gonna stick later. He's okay. He's not dead. He's just enjoying life. I swear she's alive. Oh my god, those onions. They're so sad. Oh my god, they're so sad, those onions, man. Oh my god, so sad, those onions. Yeah, the trick is not to get emotionally attached to the onion. It's a little bit too late for this, fuck. There's so many tricks with the onions, but I always forget about it, honestly, once I start. So we have 2 big onions in there. Now I'm gonna put some garlic. I'm gonna put, you can put a bunch of garlic in there. Like, I'm gonna make like 2 small pumpkins for the pumpkin soup. Oh my god, the fucking tears. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna roughly chop the garlic. As I said, we're gonna puree everything at the end, so you don't need to be careful with the size of anything you put in. And then we're gonna kill 2 of our pumpkin. Again, you need to check, depending on which pumpkin you're gonna use for your soup. If you use a butternut squash, is that what it's called? Butternut pumpkin? No, what is it called? I don't know. If you use the butternut one, I think you cannot use the skin of it. With the Hokkaido, that's the one that I use, you can eat the skin. So depending on which pumpkin you use, make sure that you check if you can eat the skin or not. I personally prefer Hokkaido over everything else. It's butternut squash? Yeah, I wasn't sure. Just make sure like it has some of the pumpkins that have like little kind of like scarring around. So just make sure that you cut that part off, and then the rest you can just eat normally. Okay, so I cut obviously the butt and the head off, and then we're gonna try to cut it in half. But this one, wait, actually let's do it like this way. I'm trying to not hurt myself, guys. So what I'm doing now, I'm trying to cut it in half because obviously we need to get like the insides out. What you can do, what I usually do, I don't do it with all of them, but you can use the seeds. For example, dry them in your oven and make like dried pumpkin seeds. You can also just dry them and keep them and put them, for example, in your garden, and then the year after you're gonna have your own Hokkaido pumpkin. That's what I'm gonna do, I think, this time. But yeah, you can always dry them. From one Hokkaido, I'm gonna keep the seeds and put them behind my house. So what you wanna get out is not only the seeds, but it's also like the kind of, it looks like hair. Okay, so what we wanna do next, now that you cut it into half, open it up, emptied out the seeds, either threw them away, put them in your garden or whatever, or dried them and made crunchy snacks out of it. We're now gonna start cutting the pumpkin. Careful that you don't hurt yourself, obviously. You wanna cut the pumpkin in like some rough cubes. It doesn't need to be fine. Again, we're gonna puree it, but still we want to cook it first in like a soup, like in like you can either make it with chicken stock, you can make it with like a normal vegetable stock, and this needs to cook through till it's soft first. So you obviously want to make the cube small, because if I would put in like a huge piece like this, it would take way longer to cook through, right? Quick question. Is it normal to cook pumpkin with the rind still there? I said it just earlier. It's depending which pumpkin you have. If you have a Hokkaido pumpkin, for example, you can make it with the skin, with the rind or whatever how you call it. With other types of pumpkin, you need to check if you can eat it or not. Again, Hokkaido, it makes it really, really flavorful. So I personally prefer making Hokkaido because you can make that one with the skin. So now what I'm gonna do, so we have oil in here, 2 big onions, 4 garlic cloves, and now I'm gonna put the pumpkin on top. I'm still gonna make a second one for the soup, so I'm not gonna put the oven on yet. Okay, we're gonna take a second pumpkin for the soup because I'm gonna make a huge batch. So again, we're cutting off the tip and the yes. So yeah, we have in here oil, 2 big onions, 4 garlic cloves, and 2 small Hokkaido pumpkin. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna put the stove on high heat. What we want to do, we want to brown the onions, we want to brown the pumpkin and give it like a nice like it needs to be browned, right? It makes it taste better. So make sure you do that. In the meanwhile, what we're gonna prepare for this is we're gonna need some stock, some soup. If you want, you can make your stock yourself, obviously. Oops. You can use chicken stock, you can use veggie stock, whatever you want. In my case today, I'm gonna be really, really lazy, and what I'm gonna use is I'm just gonna use those soup cubes. I'm keeping mine in a glass always. I'm gonna use 2 cubes. So again, like you can literally use whatever stock you want. I just have some veggie stock here, 2 cubes, and I'm gonna be mixing that with warm water. You can also just put that in the pot later on. You can probably not hear it, but everything is browning very nicely already in the pot. And don't forget to stir. It's a little bit heavy or hard to do with like so many pieces, but you just want to make sure that everything is like browned all around. Yeah, and here I'm gonna put some warm water in. Just gonna let the water run a little bit. I'm gonna get a whisk. I'm just gonna eyeball how much water I'm gonna need. I think I'm gonna need like roughly 1.5 to 2 liters of water or stock or whatever. I just like it to be warm when I add it to the soup. So basically what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna let it dissolve in the water in the meanwhile. We can talk about poop, whatever. I know, Drew. I don't understand it either. Sorry. Indrisk, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So, that is the soup stock that we're gonna put aside for now. We can also start working on our risotto in the meanwhile. So for the risotto, we're gonna need an onion again. I'm gonna take a big onion. This time for the risotto, you wanna slice everything like really fine. Halloween is on Saturday. We already used pumpkin for a cooking stream. It's fine. We can make something else on Halloween. We can make like scary treats. That's what I was thinking about for Halloween. I wanted to do like spooky stuff, like cake pops that look like eyeballs and stuff like that. That's what I was thinking for Halloween. Again, those are gonna be the onions for the risotto. And for the risotto, we also want to cut the pumpkin pretty small. I think for the risotto, we're only gonna use like half a pumpkin. I don't think we're gonna need like a full one, to be 100% honest. So I'm just gonna take half of it, and the other half I'm gonna put like some foil on it. Yeah, so don't be surprised. I really want to get the browning like all around. So you can basically not do anything wrong here. But that is what makes the taste of the soup even better, okay? So take your time with the browning here. So now for the pumpkin risotto, right? Here we want to cut the pumpkin small and fine. Because we're gonna have the chunks in the risotto, right? So here we need to be a little bit more precise, right? So I think the browning looks pretty good. So what we're gonna do now, oh, it smells so delicious. We're gonna add the soup, the stock that I just made. I use normal veggie stock, and we're gonna pour that on top of everything. Oh, and I made just the right amount. That's perfect, actually. So I don't measure anything, as you can see. So what you want to do, you want to put as much stock so like all the pumpkin is covered in liquid, like not swimming in it, just like barely covered. Because what you want to do now, you bring everything to a boil. So we're gonna cover this up. We bring this to a boil, and we're gonna let it boil till the whole pumpkin is soft, okay? So you let it on a high heat the whole time. Best thing is if you obviously add the soup and it's warm. So now we want to make like small cubes, small chunks that are easy to eat, okay? So I'm gonna cut it like this. We want the chunks in the risotto later to be not super mushy and soft. So unlike the soup, we want it to still have a little bite to it, right? For the consistency in the risotto. Okay, that is the pumpkin for our risotto, which is gonna be delicious. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm just gonna mix this through every now and then to get like the pumpkin that is on the bottom to come to the top. Because obviously like it's warmer on the bottom, so the ones on the bottom are gonna cook through faster than the ones on the top, most likely. So you just want to stir it every now and then. We're gonna also start with the risotto. For the risotto, I'm gonna have to weigh stuff out. That's the only thing where I don't really want to eyeball anything, because I'm not sure about stuff. What we're gonna need here is, we need this to measure the liquid later. We need the scale. Okay, and also for risotto, we're not using oil, we're using butter, my friends, okay? Really important. A huge chunk of butter. So we're gonna take a huge chunk of butter, like this. Put that in with the onion. So for the risotto, what I'm gonna be using is rice first of all. So I'm just gonna weigh it. I'm gonna use like roughly like 300 grams of rice. The soup is boiling, which is really good. What are we gonna do? I'm gonna slowly warm up the bowl with the onion and the butter. Okay. Give my soup a stir. Ooh, look at this, so beautiful. Oh my god. What I want to do first, I want the butter to melt, and once the butter is melted, I'm gonna add in the rice, and I'm gonna make some soup on the side again. But I'm gonna use like wine as well for this. I'm actually gonna use put the rice in already. So I have one onion in there. You put the rice with the butter and the onion, and you want everything to be like in a glassy consistency. So I might have to use a little bit of more butter. We're gonna see that. And then we're gonna let everything in there together for like, good question. Yeah, till it's like glassy, till the rice is glassy. So I'm gonna be using around 200 ml dry white wine, my friends. And you want everything to be glassy. So the onion and the rice needs to be glassy, and then you can add the liquids to it. So, ooh, yes, that looks good. That's better with the amount of butter. Just make sure that your risotto does not burn, okay? I want to do kind of like the same like I did with the soup. I want to get a little bit of browning on my pumpkin. But again, with the rice, you need to be very careful and really keep stirring. So I'm going to give the pumpkin soup a little stir. And I'm going to see how soft. No, it turned off my stove. Whoopsie. Back to it. There we go. I'm going to see in a little bit if the pumpkin is soft enough already to puree. And then we can start finishing up the soup. So, stirring this, and then I'm going to take a little peek at the chat. Sorry, chat. So how you're gonna check if the pumpkin is soft enough is you're gonna take a fork and you're gonna scoop out a piece, and you're gonna see, oh yeah, that is super soft already. That's perfect. Like if you can poke your fork from both sides, from the skin and the soft part, really well through the pumpkin, that's when you know you cooked it enough. You can let it a little bit more, but we're basically done. So after, our rice is now glassy, which is looking really, really good. The first thing we're gonna add to this, actually, yeah, that's fine. We're gonna put white wine, 200 ml of white wine. A dry white wine. I'm gonna let that first before I put in the stock after that. And you're gonna have to keep stirring this, okay? I'm also gonna put some salt and pepper in already. And now I'm just gonna bring that to a boil, and in the meanwhile, I'm gonna put the lid on. I will prepare the rest of the stock. So we have 200 in there, so we need around 600 of water, but we're gonna need warm water. I got a beef stock one. Oh no! Wanted to make it fully vegetarian today, and I grabbed a beef stock one. Anyway, you can use whatever stock you want. We're not making cat soup, Stevie. Still not. Okay, I'm gonna turn down the heat a little bit of the soup. I'm gonna get my thing out again. And we're gonna let it sit. This is gonna dissolve by itself. Took a T-side pistol. Nice. Let's go. Okay, let me just stir our risotto that is just swimming in the wine for now. Ooh, that is smelling so good already. Just a combination like onion, wine, rice, a little bit of the pumpkin. Ooh, smells so good, guys. I'm gonna mix that in. And then we're gonna let that simmer a little bit, but we need to stir in between, okay? That's really important. You need to make sure that that rice does not burn. That is very important. Now, soup, guys. I'm gonna take off the heat here of our pumpkin soup. Again, we pierced it. It is soft. So, first thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna take our magic wand. We take this wand. This is like a puree kind of thing. Be careful. A blender, exactly. It will like splash everywhere if you're not careful. So be careful when you handle the blender. It's probably also gonna be loud now, chat. So you might want to turn down the sound of the stream. So I am plugging this in here. And we're just gonna start pureeing it, okay? So you don't put it on here already. You put it in and press it down and then you turn it on. That's how you not make it go everywhere, okay? It's really thick, right? So what you can do now, you can either add more stock to it, right? Or you can put some cream in it. You can put like heavy cream. I take a 15% cream into it. So I'm just gonna be adding this to the soup. This is, how much is that? 250 ml? Something like that. And I'm also gonna be adding spices after I blended it in. So we're gonna blend it again to get the whole thingy mixed in. So you can also, like for example, what I do sometimes if I want to be fancy, I add some, also always stir the risotto. I'm gonna put it a little bit higher so I bring it to a boil. What do you want to do with the soup? You can put ginger in it, you can put some curry in it. There's so many different things. I'm just gonna mix it a little bit more. And now what you want to do is you want to try it, because obviously you don't know exactly like how salty is it from the stock already and stuff. So I'm gonna be trying it first before I add any spices. It tastes so intense already from the pumpkin. It's so good. Since we're having like a huge amount of soup, I'm gonna, so this is probably like, how much is that? Probably like 3 liters of soup or something. Yeah, it's like 3.5 liters. I will be adding quite a lot of salt. You just try it yourself. I made it so often that I approximately know how much I need. So, bunch of salt, pepper. You can put, if you want, more like garlic in there, like dried garlic powder or something. What I really like is nutmeg, so I'm gonna put a little bit of nutmeg in there. That gives it that little okay, the little oomph. And then another thing, I don't put a lot, but because I don't want it to be curry pumpkin soup, I just put 1 teaspoon, okay? 1 teaspoon of curry powder in this, okay? Just a little bit, not too much. Like you can obviously put more, but otherwise it will just be like really dominated by the curry taste. I mean, I still want it to taste like pumpkin, obviously. So I'm not a fan of putting too much in there. And I'm gonna puree it again just to get everything incorporated. And that's it. And now you want to try it again. I'm also gonna have to... Oh my god, this is so good. It's perfect. Guys, I don't want to brag, but this is fucking perfect. So the soup is done. I already put it off the heat. Now you just let the pot on and you can eat this for the next days. So I'm gonna be mixing my risotto so it's not getting stuck on the bottom. Go. And now we wait. In the meanwhile, the risotto is cooking. We could technically eat the soup already. And now I'm gonna show you how in Austria we serve a good pumpkin soup, okay? I hope you're ready for that. And don't forget today, after we eat, right, we're not done because we're still gonna carve the pumpkins, okay? Don't forget. So once I'm done eating, there's gonna be more coming, okay? I'm gonna show you how in Austria you would serve pumpkin soup the right way. So first thing you're gonna need is a bowl. Second thing you're gonna need some dried pumpkin seeds. I made them myself. And then we're gonna need some, how our Styrian friends gonna say, some kernöl, some pumpkin seed oil, and on top of that, some sour cream. Kernöl. Be careful that you don't hurt yourself while chopping the seeds. There's some slippery little fucks. I like mine thick. So this is our bowl. First thing, sour cream. You want to add like 1 scoop of sour cream to this. Ooh, yes. Then kernöl, pumpkin seed oil, a little drizzle over the soup. And then, in my opinion, there always needs to be some freaking seeds drizzled on top. There we go. And that is how you eat pumpkin soup in Austria. And also the risotto is not fully done. We're gonna be adding something more to it. You can put bacon on it, for example, if you want. We are staying vegetarian today. Oh my god, this soup is so good. Now there's like the big discussion. And that doesn't look good anymore. But there are 2 types of people. The one type that mixes everything together, and the other one that scoops every single part by itself. Which part are you? Are you mixing everything together so it looks shitty but tastes delicious, or not? Damn, that soup was 10 out of 10, guys. Oof. And now the risotto, but first... oh man, before we do the risotto, we need this bad boy, cheese grater. And we need some delicious parmesan. And we're just gonna finely grate some. Try to not grate your own hand if possible, like I do always. I don't know how, but every time I grate cheese, I somehow injure myself. Risotto, risotto. I'm gonna put on the other camera for you again, so you can see what I'm doing. It's still really, really hot, so it's important that you put that in when it's still warm, obviously. I'm gonna let it a little bit out for the garnish. And now we're just gonna fold that into our risotto. At this stage, your risotto is like really soft. So when you mix it, be careful, don't mush it, because you obviously don't want it to be like... You still want the rice to be visible, right? You don't want to overcook it. You don't want to like stir it that it becomes like a mush, obviously. So yeah, and now we're gonna plate our risotto, guys. I hope you're ready. We're done eating now, but we're gonna crave a pumpkin. Guys, do you have ideas? Kind of like the Nightmare Before Christmas one. Should we make a Nightmare Before Christmas one, guys? I think I'm gonna do the Nightmare Before Christmas one. The number 11 of what Troka posted. Give me a second, I'm just getting a... a pencil. Oh, nice. Look. Easy closing, easy opening. Perfecto. Like you need to cut it in an angle, like down like this, so the top actually doesn't fall through. If that makes sense? Okay, and now we have this little pumpkin shovel. And now we're gonna empty pumpkin. Let me actually, give me 1 second. Let me actually get my gloves so I can fully like put my hand into this. Okay, we got it empty. Kinda ish. And now we're gonna have to start doing the hard part. And now comes the actual art, guys. Does he look fantastic or does he look fantastic? Anyway, guys, that was kind of again a short stream, I want to say. Even though we did a lot of stuff. We did soup, we did a risotto, and we made a jack. Do you like it? Thank you again for the ideas, Troka. Guys, I love you all. Have a beautiful evening. Thank you for watching, and I see you again tomorrow afternoon. Bye, guys.